Big up to each and every single one of you this morning. Do me a massive favor, people. Smash a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. And of course, hit up the chat as well. Would love to hear from you all from today. We're going to be talking a lot of Liverpool content. But of course, these shows are as much your shows as they are mine. So if you want to talk about anything other football related, or whether you're just popping in to say hi, or whether you got any other random questions or things like that, then do hit up the chat. Really do appreciate each and every single one of you being here. I hope we're all good on this Monday morning. I know that Liverpool fans, don't worry. The season's almost over. I mean, the nightmare obviously continues probably into next season with Arne Slot potentially staying. But at least this season is going to be over as a bare minimum. So we are heading into the final week of the season. Still a lot to play for. The relegation battle still, well, could be decided as far as Tuesday. If Tottenham pick up a point on Tuesday against Chelsea, then they are safe and sound. West Ham are confirmed to be going down. The battle and race for Europe is still a little bit up for grabs as well. And obviously the title race, you know, I'm praying and hoping that Burnley can do something tonight against Arsenal. But yeah, that is more hope than anything. More hope than anything. But we shall see. But like I say, we are mainly here to be talking about Liverpool this morning. So, I mean, I don't even have a rant. I don't even have a rant this morning. Normally, when I do these shows, I normally have a rant. I normally start the show with an opening monologue on just how bad things are. And I don't really have a rant. I can't really rant much about Friday night because it's the same old, same old. We've seen it all season. And I did a bit of a rant on Saturday when I did my match reaction to the game. I ranted yesterday about the whole Mohamed Salah and Arne Slot situation. Like, again, a lot of people are not going to be happy with the way that Salah's gone public. They're going to see it as sort of unprofessional and wrong. But at the same time, I'm happy that he's calling it out for what it is. I'm happy that someone out there in that Liverpool team is not just sat there taking it, and is not just, you know, giving the whole PR media trained BS that we're used to. I'm happy that Mo Salah has decided to stand up and you know, basically state like, this isn't good enough. Because the owners aren't doing that. The owners aren't standing up and saying this isn't good enough. Because if they were doing that, they'd have sacked Arne Slot months ago. They're seemingly happy with this. They're seemingly okay with this. And then if that wasn't bad enough to just kick us when we're down, a lot of Liverpool fans, including myself, would have had Xabi Alonso as their number one target to replace Arne Slot, should it have got to that. And now he's going to Chelsea. Chelsea! Let that sink in. Go to that front door and let that sink in. Chelsea. A team that has been in the mud for the past several years. This whole Blueco project not working out. A massive gamble that backfired. They've managed to get Xabi Alonso. A player who, if Liverpool had properly came in for him, would have been the manager of their club at the drop of a hat. And yet Chelsea, have gotten him as their manager. Chelsea have shown more ambition than us. Chelsea, a club that hired Liam Rosenior as their manager, have shown more ambition than us. Dare I say any more? They hired Liam Rosenior earlier on this season, and then went, what the hell are we doing? Xabi Alonso's right there. What are we doing? It's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Every time I think like this club can't surprise me anymore, they go and do it, and they go and do it in the worst way possible. It's completely ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. Hey, what I say, I hope we're all good on this Monday morning, the start of a brand new week, the start of the final week of the Premier League. I, for one, cannot wait until the final whistle goes on Sunday, put this season behind us. But at the same time, if Slot's still here, then it's a bit of respite. It's respite. That's all it is. That's all it will be. Respite. Big up Dino's in the building. Lovely to have you here, bro. Hope you're doing well. This is Morning Fletch. I'm so not shocked with Liverpool's performance and result. I predicted that Liverpool would lose. We would have even lost to Villa's B team, so I didn't feel let down. So I expected to lose. And you know what, bro? I get it. The only thing that I was kind of relying on was that maybe Villa were attempting to put all their eggs in the Europa League basket. I thought that might have been a deciding factor, and we may have just about got away with it if Villa had one eye completely on the Europa League final that is coming up this week. And I was wrong. I was proven wrong. Unai Emery took it seriously. They wanted to guarantee Euro Champions League through the league phase. And you know what? Congratulations to them, because they deserved the win. They were absolutely unbelievable. Morgan Rogers' goal was great, but John McGinn's goal was absolute class. They were just so much better than us. And like I say, 4-2 flattered us, bro. 4-2 absolutely flattered us. Like, the fact that we even got 2 goals to begin with is a complete mystery. I don't know, man. And the way that Slot came out after the game and basically went, oh, scoring 2 goals away at Villa Park's not a bad result, or words to that effect. I'm like, you've completely lost the plot, bro. You've completely lost the plot. Lost the plot. Like, Tottenham managed to score 2 goals against Villa a few weeks ago. Like, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing here? The guy is insane. The guy is absolutely insane. And just on that, by the way, Virgil van Dijk is our 4th top goal scorer this season. Once again, go to the front door and let that sink in. Virgil van Dijk is our 4th top goal scorer this season with 6. Joint with Dominic Szoboszlai. And only behind Mo Salah and Cody Gakpo, both on 7, and Hugo Ekitike on 11. It's embarrassing. And the more and more that you go through this season, the more and more stats that you go through, the more and more records that are broken. They're not good ones. They're all bad. They all make for embarrassing and scary reading. And the way that we have deteriorated as the season's gone on, and yet these owners have sat there and basically gone, yeah, this is fine. You know the meme of the dog where everything is burning around him? He's in his house and everything, and the house is on fire. And he's just sat there with like a cup of tea or whatever. He's sat at his dining room table and he's going, yep, this is fine. That's essentially what FSG are doing right now. Everything's burning around them, but they're like, yeah, this is fine. This is fine. We've got Alisson that wants to leave in the summer, along with Curtis Jones, along with maybe 2 or 3 other players. Mo Salah's already gone. Robertson's already gone. But yeah, this is fine. It's all good. Ekatike is going to be out till January, and even then, there's no guarantee he's going to come back the same player as what he left. But this is fine. Everything's all good. Isak's injury prone, and seemingly his legs have gone. McAllister's legs have gone. Gravenberch's legs have gone. But this is fine. It's a shambles. It's an absolute shambles. Well done on an amazing season for Villa. They're in the Champions League spaces, and good luck in the final on Wednesday. Yeah. Again, it was a brilliant performance by Villa. And once again, Unai Emery has got another chance to win his favourite competition. So, yeah, fair play and good luck to Villa. I'm really embarrassed by this club now, and ashamed Liverpool have no standards anymore. Tell me about it, bro. Tell me about it. Slot is so out of his depth, and he has no idea how to fix anything. Well, he admitted back in November he didn't know how to fix anything. Was it November, October time, somewhere around about then? He basically went into an interview and basically said, yeah, these are the problems that Liverpool are facing right now, and I've got no idea how to fix it. And I know that because I did a live stream on it. I did a live stream in which I basically said, like, this guy is so out of his depth. He doesn't know what to do. He's facing all these problems and he's got no idea how to fix them, and he's just admitted it himself. And that was that. I think that for me was the turning point. That for me was about the turning point where I was like, yeah, there's no coming back from this. There's no coming back from this. How do you, as the head coach of one of the biggest and best football teams on the planet, the biggest team in England, how are you, the head coach of that team, turning to the media and going, yeah, low block, we can't break it. High press, we can't pass it. Long throw-ins, we can't deal with them. Set pieces, we can't deal with them either. These are all the problems and more that Liverpool are facing. The problem is, I don't know how to deal with them. Then why are you here? Why are you here? If you don't know what you're doing, leave. I don't know how to pilot a plane. I'm not suddenly going to go, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, pretending I'm a pilot. I'm not going to go into the cockpit and just be like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing here. I'm going to put a lot of lives at risk. Explain to me. If you don't know what you're doing, you're clearly not qualified for the job. And he clearly doesn't know what he's doing. Because he decided to take the Jurgen Klopp DNA at the beginning of last season, slightly tweak it at the beginning of the season for the first half of the campaign last season, and it all worked fine. And then he decided to take that DNA and decided to absolutely throw it out the window and then do his own thing. And it has not worked for the past 18 months or so. He's a joke. He's an absolute joke. I'm really proud of Salah for expressing himself in the way that he did, because FSG has to respond now. Well, it ties in with the video title, because he clearly has lost the dressing room. Because it wasn't, as I said in my video yesterday, it wasn't just Salah that put out a post like that. Curtis Jones did the same thing. Andy Robertson did the same thing. And they're all players that are leaving in the summer, by the way. I think that's the most telling thing, that the ones that did it were the ones that go, you know what, I don't care anymore. I'm just going to throw it out there as kind of like my last kind of hurrah to the fans. Because they don't get anything out of this. They're leaving anyway. They're getting nothing out of stating facts, in my opinion. Like, they're getting nothing out of it. So they've got every right to do whatever they want. I mean, what are the club going to do? Like, sack them? No. Like, what are they going to do? They're going in the summer anyway. So they've got every right to do whatever they want to do. I'm glad, like I say, that they didn't do the whole media trained PR nonsense that, like, I understand why Van Dijk does it because he's the captain, of course, but the likes of Soboslai doing it as well, like, Soboslai's been great for us all season, and God forbid, I hate to think where we would be without Soboslai in the team, to be fair. But at the same time, in saying that, the way that obviously he's gone about his business, being like the complete PR corporate guy for Liverpool this season, in terms of what he said in interviews and press conferences, and even at Old Trafford a few weeks ago, pointing at the Premier League badge to Manchester United. Like, come on, bro. Like, read the room a little bit more. But it's completely ridiculous. And to my knowledge as well, I could be wrong in saying this, but to my knowledge, I think a lot of the Liverpool players have actually liked, commented, and all of that kind of stuff, interacted with Salah's main post. So that kind of tells you to me that this guy has clearly lost the dressing room. And I'm hoping that FSG are taking note. I doubt they are, because they are seemingly set on this guy for whatever reason, kamikazing our club right the way through to the bedrock of the earth. But I'm hoping that FSG are taking note of stuff that's happening online, because a lot of players, not just the ones that are leaving in Mo Salah and Andy Robertson, are seemingly behind what he is saying. They just don't have the courage to speak out, because guess what? They're going to be here next year, likely. They're likely to be here next year, whereas Salah and Robertson are not. So with that all being said, I'm glad someone's spoken out. I'm glad someone within the club has spoken out. Let's hope that FSG responds in the right way and do what they need to be done and sack Slot. Hopefully. But again, if they hadn't have done it before now, I don't know why they would now. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And not only that, but Alonso's now taken, the supposed number one target. I mean, are they hoping that Nagelsmann leaves Germany after the World Cup? I don't know. Are they hoping that someone becomes available after the World Cup? I don't know. I mean, you're cutting it fine if you are waiting for the end of the World Cup. You're cutting it fine to bring in a new manager after the World Cup's over. And especially because then, I don't know, maybe they don't want to start work straight away. I don't know. I don't know who they'd go and get afterwards. Not that I don't think it matters. I think anything will be an improvement, but will it be a drastic improvement? I don't know. Because if Liverpool keeps Slot for next season, then you can forget Champions League football next year. Yeah, absolutely. Arsenal, Manchester City will still be up there competing. Man United, it's a bit more debatable with Man United because they're going to have 2 games a week next season. So it's going to be interesting whether or not they can build the squad in the summer that will compensate for that, or whether or not Carrick is going to be good in the first place. Chelsea under Xabi Alonso will definitely be up there, in my opinion, competing for the top 4, top 5, because they'll only have 1 game a week. 1 game a week with Xabi Alonso, they'll easily get top 5, in my opinion. And then it's a bit of a mystery after that. Like, will Liverpool get there? Will Aston Villa continue to maintain a level of consistency? There's a whole plethora of questions. And a whole load of teams that you would have to question whether or not they will continue or to progress, or will continue to show a sign of consistency. You know, I can't imagine that if like Bournemouth and Brighton next season are playing 2 games a week, I can't imagine their league form will continue. Plus, Areola will not be at Bournemouth next season. They're bringing in this new guy. Will he hit the ground running? Brighton with a young squad, will they be able to handle 2 games a week? They couldn't quite do it a couple of years ago when they were in Europe. So maybe they've learned, maybe they haven't. I don't know. Roberto De Zerbi at Tottenham, as much as people may laugh at that, like that might need to be a factor to consider because it looks like they will be staying up this season. So there are a few things. Newcastle, I can't imagine, are going to have another season where they're this bad, so they might return next year. There's a lot more competition next year, and you are 100% right. If we stagnate with this manager, we're going to fall because everyone else around us will get stronger. They'll get better, and if we're only scraping top 5 this year, and you think as well, the next year is going to be a year with no Mo Salah. Alisson potentially is gone as well. No Curtis Jones. You're getting rid of a lot of spine of that team that's been there for years. And you're pinning your hopes that the likes of Isak can stay fit. You're pinning hopes on this right-back situation, which, again, is so delicate and so fragile. Is Frimpong going to learn how to actually kick a football? Is Bradley or Frimpong going to be there long enough to be fit enough to actually play? Is Florian Wirtz going to stop hitting the ball like a 3-year-old? Is Cody Gakpo going to, follow the yellow brick road like Tin Man and find a brain? I don't know. Like, these are the questions of this Liverpool squad. Is McAllister going to rediscover his legs? Is Gravenberch going to, actually be useful? Is Konate going to find a brain? Lots of questions regarding lots of these Liverpool players. But mainly it falls on the manager, because that's why I've been reluctant to go too hard on the players this year. Because as much as I think that maybe you can argue that, maybe getting a bit older, playing loads of games over the past few years has taken its toll on some of these players. I also think that for a lot of these players, a new manager that actually knows what they're doing will actually bring the best out of them, especially the new ones. Especially the new ones like a Wirtz, like a Frimpong. I just think a better manager brings out the best in them, which is why I've been reluctant. I've obviously called them out. I've obviously stated that some performances and some players have not been good enough this season. But ultimately, I can't say and write them off because I still think there's good players in there. I just think they're not being given the best platform to shine because the manager's not using them in the correct way. For example, Kirkes was being used as an inverted fullback all season until about just over halfway through. And then he was like, oh, you're better as a wing back, aren't you? Yeah, let's play you there instead. As if every Liverpool fan on the planet couldn't see that. And then suddenly he plays wing back and he starts to look better. Not perfect, but better. Florian Wirtz is being used as a striker one moment and then a left winger the next, as if our most creative outlet is being used in any other position than his own. Same with Dominic Szoboszlai. He's being used at right back 1 minute, right wing next, like as a number 10 the next, left winger the next. He's being used in every other position than his own. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. The guy's got no idea what he's doing. He's just trying everything and hoping something sticks. But the longer that continues, the more of a risk it is. What's going on at Anfield? Slot should be sacked months ago. Makes me angry. Big up, Grandioso. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you here with us. Yeah, I mean, he should have been sacked after the Man United game back in October. And he never was. And then he should have been sacked definitely after either or both of the Nottingham Forest game where we got played off the park by Nottingham Forest, Sean Dyche's Nottingham Forest, where we lost 3-0, or when we lost at Anfield to PSV in humiliating fashion. That's when he should have been sacked. But no, we kept him. Then he should have been sacked after we lost to rock bottom of the table Wolves. That didn't happen either. There are multiple times this season where you can look back on and go, he should have been sacked there, he should have been sacked there, he should have been sacked there. We might have made more of a go of things in the league or in the Champions League maybe, or maybe in the FA Cup or something. But no, instead, we decided to stick with him for no reason other than complete negligence. Big old spicy tuber, hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you here. It says, bro, you look like a great dude. Have a great day. Same to you, my bro. Thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. Same to you. Hope you're doing well. It must be all about money. He's going to Chelsea. I don't think it is necessarily. I think he's going to get power at Chelsea. I think he's going to get a say in how things are done at Chelsea, whether it be on the pitch or even in terms of maybe some transfers. I think the guy has been promised a lot because, as I mentioned yesterday when I did the video on it, the key word for me when David Ornstein broke the news was that he used the word manager and he didn't use the word head coach. And obviously Chelsea have decided to go down the head coach route, as have a lot of clubs, by the way. And he's getting the title of manager, which obviously means more power, more of a say. And that can only be a good thing for Chelsea. That can only be a good thing for Chelsea, that you're finally getting a footballing person that will make footballing decisions rather than business people who are completely useless at making football decisions. You're getting an actual football person to make football decisions. So I think it's a good thing for Chelsea. I think it's a step forward, a step in the right direction. But yes, it's obviously big for Chelsea. It's big for Chelsea, and again, maybe money. There is a part of it that is money, but I would say he's been given reassurances and promises that he's not going to walk into that club with the same with the same treatment that Graham Potter was given, with the same treatment that Mauricio Pochettino was given, and with the same treatment that Enzo Maresca was given. He's going to have reassurances that things are going to be different. Because I can't imagine a manager of his potential and his already shown quality would walk into Chelsea if they weren't going to at least attempt to change their ways. If they were going to continue to run the club like they have been doing, then the head coach / managerial role is not important. They could have just hired who's the guy that they have at Strasbourg right now? The former Wolves manager. I can't remember his frigging name. I'm gonna have to Google this because this is gonna absolutely do my head in. Gary O'Neill, that's it. Former Wolves manager Gary O'Neill. They might as well have just hired him, but they decided to push the boat out a little bit more and get Alonso. So this is a step in the right direction for Chelsea, and that's why I feel, because Chelsea have got all the potential to be strong again. They've got all the potential to be very, very good, very strong going forward. And yet, they've never shown it under Bluecoat because they decided to go down this route of this project that has been high risk, high reward, but it's been high risk and no reward. And if they continue to go down that route, they'd have been finished within the next few years. So they decided to change their approach completely. So, fair play. They've shown ambition. They've shown intent. Few things that our owners can certainly learn from, and we had to learn it from, of all clubs, Chelsea. Fantastic news. Big up Stardust, who's in the building. I hope you're doing well, my bruv. How many London-based clubs are there in the Premier League? Never mind, just looked it up. 7 teams. Yep, there are a fair few that are London-based. Although we are going to be losing West Ham. Well, either one of West Ham or Tottenham. It's probably going to be West Ham. Which in a way is a shame, and in other ways it's not so much a shame. I know a lot of people would have liked Tottenham to go down. I know a lot of people would have liked Tottenham to go down, but just want to be. Big up Marco is in the chat. Lovely to have you here, my bro. Hope you're doing well. It says, can Burnley shock the world tonight? My heart says yes, because that's what I want. My head says no, because that's the smart option. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Arsenal pretty comfortably get the job done tonight, and they move on. Obviously, we're waiting to see whether or not Bournemouth can then beat. You know what I could genuinely see happening? If, let's say, there's a world in which Burnley beat Arsenal, I could genuinely see, like, let's say, or at least take points off them. I could see a world in which Burnley could beat Arsenal. But in that same week, I could also see Bournemouth beating Man City. Like, I could genuinely see Man City not take advantage at all whatsoever of the situation that Arsenal would find themselves in if they were to drop points tonight. So I don't think it would necessarily matter. I don't think Man City are beating beating Bournemouth. I really don't. So Burnley could beat Arsenal tonight, but I think Bournemouth, at the very least, take points off of Arsenal. So Burnley can shock the world as much as they want. Bournemouth will just help Arsenal anyway, I think. So, yeah. And then obviously against Crystal Palace on the final day of the season, Oliver Glasner's going to put out his under-18s. He's already said, he don't care about that game. He's already said, Palace is safe. I've got a Europa Conference League final to focus on. I'm not bothered about helping or not helping other teams. I'm just focused on Crystal Palace. So, it doesn't matter then, does it? It don't matter. Imagine, does anyone want Arsenal, except their fans, want to win this? Those fans, yeah. I'd say that a large majority of Man United fans want Arsenal to win the league. And it's understandable as to why. They have more of an ingrained rivalry with Man City than they do Arsenal. But yeah, you're right. No one wants Arsenal to win the league. Because here's the thing. If Arsenal win the league, their fans are going to be so unbelievably unbearable. So unbelievably unbearable. That's why I've got my problems with Arsenal. I don't have a problem with Arsenal as a football club, as an institution. I grew up watching some of the most incredible players to ever grace a football pitch when Arsenal were in their heyday, their Invincibles era. Robert Pires, Patrick Vieira, Sol Campbell, obviously Ashley Cole, Thierry Henry, some of the most incredible players that I've ever, Dennis Bergkamp, some of the most incredible players to ever grace the Premier League. I like watching Arsenal growing up. Under Wenger, they're always fun to watch. Under Wenger, they're always somewhat humble. And then under Mikel Arteta, their fans have just got much more louder, much more obnoxious, much more annoying for no reason, because they haven't won anything. They have an FA Cup to show for their efforts over the past several years. And that's them being unbearable without winning anything. So imagine what it's going to be like when they actually do win something. And just to add insult to injury, they might win 2 things this year. And not just any 2 things, but the biggest 2 things that you can win in a single season. The Premier League and maybe the Champions League. Now, I don't necessarily think they are going to win the Champions League. I still, at this moment in time, barring any sort of major event that kicks off in the world, like, I don't know, maybe, PSG suffer with some dodgy lasagna. If you know, you know. I'm backing PSG to win that game, but there is a solid chance that Arsenal could very well win that final. I'm not going to be completely deluded and say that it's like 100% in PSG's favour. There's no point in Arsenal turning up. Of course, there is a good, solid opportunity there for Arsenal to win their first ever Champions League final. But they can't win both. They can't win both. At the very least, take the Premier League. I personally have seen you win the Premier League before. I can potentially handle you winning that again. I've resigned myself to it because I've said for the majority of this season since Liverpool fell off that I think Arsenal are going to win the league. And at times that belief has been tested, I will admit. But I've always maintained that I think consistency-wise, this year it's more about Arsenal than it is Man City. And so far, unfortunately, it's one of those predictions that I've been proven right in. Out of all the predictions to be proven right in, it's this one. I hate it. But yeah, they certainly cannot win both. Otherwise, I'm going to have to be sent to the moon, or I'm going to have to climb Kilimanjaro or something, or I'm going to have to swim and dive to the depths of the Atlantic Ocean just to get away from the Arsenal fans that are going to be even louder, even more annoying, even more frustrating, and even more ignorant, arrogant, and stupid than most of them are right now. There are some good Arsenal fans out there. Of course there are. There are some really good Arsenal fans out there. Really do like and respect them. But I don't know. And I know that every fan base has these areas of their fan base where they are loud and they are stupid and they are obnoxious and they are cringeworthy and all of that kind of stuff. But Arsenal fans seem to be louder than the rest. Arsenal fans seem to be louder than the rest. Although I have seen a lot of Man United fans come out in recent weeks and months. You know, that since they've got back in Champions League and things are going okay for them. Yeah, I've seen a lot of United fans come out in recent weeks, so we shall see. Maka's play acting to try and win a foul was embarrassing. Yeah, it summed up the entire night, bro. It summed up the entire night. It was stupid and embarrassing. Stupid and embarrassing. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know. I don't know what any player thinks now. I know these referees are stupid, right? I know the VAR officials are stupid. I know that they give stupid, absolutely brain dead, stupid decisions every single game, every single week, right? I know that they do that. But they were never going to give a red card for that. I don't know why he's doing that. It's embarrassing. I find it embarrassing that we were trying to get someone sent off. Well, he was personally. Don't know whether the team was, but he personally was trying to get someone sent off or in trouble for something that was so minor. it summed up an incredibly embarrassing night and embarrassing performance. I honestly looked at it and was like, what are you doing? What are you doing, you fool? Big up Jamie's in the building. Lovely to have you here, my bro. Hope you're doing well. It says, honestly, cannot sit and watch next season with Slot in charge. Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm going to take up gardening. I'm going to take up cooking or baking or something. I don't know. Like, I can't go through another season of this. I can't go through another season of this. Like, it's going to be painful. And it's going to be even worse as well. Like, mitigating factors that basically reeks of we're going to be making excuses long into next season as well. And the excuses they're making are horrible. The excuses they're making are not good. Like, they are weak, terrible excuses. And in a certain Diogo Jota's case, damn right disrespectful and disgraceful. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. The way that we acted to Jota and his family at the beginning was absolutely incredible. Was never prouder of my football club for the way that we acted. Honoured his contract, retired the shirt jersey, did everything to honour the memory and the legacy of Diogo Jota. Always gave his family a home at Liverpool Football Club, all of that kind of stuff. We did everything right. And then as the season progressed, and it's not just Liverpool that have done this, I will admit, it's not just Liverpool that have done this, it's the mainstream media as well. They need to take responsibility. But the way that Liverpool pundits or ex-Liverpool players or whatever have used Diogo Jota's tragic passing as an excuse, and why a lot of Liverpool journalists also claimed that part of the mitigating circumstances as why we have failed this season is partially on Diogo Jota's passing as well, has been nothing short of absolutely disgraceful. Nothing short of absolutely disrespectful. And again, similarly to McAllister's play acting, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed that they've actually used that as an excuse as to why Liverpool have not been performing well. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure a lot of those players are grieving, and they grieve every day and all of that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, they've still got a job to do. They've still got a job to do. And they never, ever, ever bring it up when Liverpool win. They only bring it up when Liverpool lose or they drop points in a humiliating way. They never bring it up when Liverpool win. That makes it even more embarrassing for me. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not buying into the crap that the Liverpool journalists put out there. I'm not buying into the crap the mainstream media put out there as well. This is purely, well, not purely, but this is mostly on Arne Slot. The players need to take responsibility, but the shift, the blame is being shifted ever so slightly and ever so slowly on the ownership, on FSG, on Michael Edwards, on Richard Hughes, because they've allowed this to grow and to fester throughout the entirety of this season. When it could have been just as easy just to get rid of him earlier in the campaign and maybe make a last-ditch effort to maybe go after some silverware or secure Champions League football much more convincing than what we have done. Well, yet to do. There's a good chance we do get it, but if Bournemouth win on Sunday, if Bournemouth win against Man City, they're bound to win against Forest because Bournemouth always beat Forest. So, yeah, there could be a world in which we get Europa League. Hooray, Europa League! How happy is that, guys? Wonderful. I can't do a season of Europa League. I can't do a season where I can only get invested in the competition once it gets to the quarterfinals. I can't have that. Big up Don, who's in the building. Lovely to have you here, my bro. Says next season we may not make it this. Yeah, you're 100% correct. Like I say, if Bournemouth managed to get a result against Man City, and let me just double check, because I think it will rely on goal difference if it's a draw. Yeah, it will. It will rely on if Bournemouth get a draw, there is a +6 goal difference in favour of Liverpool. Now, on the final day of the season, Liverpool face Brentford. Bournemouth face Nottingham Forest. There is a good possibility that there could be a big 3-goal swing either way. That will mean that Bournemouth would probably overtake Liverpool should Liverpool lose and should they win. And if they do it by that significant margin, then of course they are going to. So that's fun. That's amazing. Love that. But if Bournemouth win, Liverpool have to win against Brentford. If Bournemouth draw, Liverpool can afford to draw. But if Bournemouth manage to somehow beat Man City, which, again, is not out of the realms of possibility, given the run that Bournemouth are on right now, and given how awkward Man City are right now, we could be in deep, deep trouble on Sunday. We could be in deep, deep, deep trouble on Sunday, in which we get the Europa League. And do you remember earlier on in the season when Slot was talking about when he first arrived at Liverpool, how they could only afford to get Federico Chiesa after a year of being in the Europa League? And he tried to make out like finishing 5th and getting Europa League was a poor season. Well, how about finishing 6th when top 5 would get you into the Champions League? This is why you don't open your big mouth if you're not going to back it up. Absolute fraud, this guy. Absolute fraud. We're finished for at least 3 years. Kind of specific of you. But again, you might be right. You might be right. I still think a new manager fixes not everything. I don't think a new manager fixes everything, of course, but I still am under the impression that a manager would fix a lot. But everything that Mo Salah said in his statement was right. Everything that Mo Salah said in his statement was right. We need to go back to the heavy metal, chaotic football. We need to go back to that, and we need to embrace what Liverpool had become under Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp rebuilt Liverpool after many, 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 many years of mediocrity. He rebuilt Liverpool Football Club. And in the space of 18 months, this bald-headed Dutch fraud has absolutely tore it down. To the point where the longer this continues, the longer it is going to be to get back to what we were. And you are right. It might take 3 years, especially if he's going to be here for next year as well. And even then, if he's not going to be here for the whole year, this is what's going to happen. He's going to start off the season poorly. He's going to get to that busy, that international period next season. There's not going to be like, we're going to have 1 week or 2 weeks in September, 2 weeks in October, 2 weeks in November. It's basically going to be like a month in November, around October, November time, where there's international break. He'll get to that international break. He'll be sacked. We'll have no plan because there'll be no one available to take over from him. So we'll hire Gerrard as an interim and we'll just write off the season. Wonderful. If we win the Premier League and then for the next 2 years, we write them off completely. Oh, fantastic. How great. How wonderful. Big up, bro. Hope you're doing well. Lovely to have you here with us. It says that with Alisson going to Juventus, we might need to send I can't even read. My bad. To send out Mamardashvili too. I don't get this Mamardashvili hate. I don't get this Mamardashvili hate. Can someone explain to me the hatred of Mamardashvili? Like, his distribution, don't get me wrong, his kicking is poor. Half the time, the players are still giving giving the ball to him to his right foot. He's left-footed. You should know that. You've been training with the guy every day. You should know by now the guy is left-footed, right? Even then, if he does get it on his left foot, his distribution is still not the best. Okay, I can fully admit and understand that, right? What can someone explain to me the hatred of Mamardashvili? He's not Alisson Becker. Fantastic. Guess what? Not many goalkeepers out there are Alisson Becker level, because Alisson Becker has been the best goalkeeper in the world for a number of years, in my personal opinion. And even if you don't agree that he's been the best, he is still one of the best, right? He's not Alisson Becker level. But the hatred behind Mamardashvili is something that I genuinely don't understand it. I genuinely don't understand why he's being made another mitigating factor, another scapegoat. I don't get it. The guy, there may have been a couple of goals, a few goals maybe, in which maybe he could have done better with. The one at Man United instantly sticks out in my mind. But I don't think he's done that bad of a job. I genuinely don't. I think if you look back on a lot of games over the past few months, I think he's kept us in a lot of games. I think against Aston Villa, he stopped it from being a 6-7-8-9-2 thrashing. Like against PSG, he kept it. He kept it at a respectable sort of level on both nights. You know, or was it Man United? Yeah, Chelsea kept us in it. Man United kept us in it. Like the guy, not Man United, Man City. Was it Man City? I'm losing track of my games here. What was the game between them? Either way, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The games that he has played, I don't think he's done that badly in. I know he's not been Alisson level, but guess what? Not a lot of goalkeepers are. I don't get this Mamardashvili hate. If someone can explain it to me in the chat, that would be amazing. I don't get the Mamardashvili hate. It was always going to be tough for whichever goalkeeper was going to succeed Alisson Becker in the first place. They are some big gloves to fill. But I don't get why people are jumping on Mamardashvili, man. I understand that there are maybe a few goals he could have done better with. But guess what? If you go through Alisson's career, he hasn't exactly been perfect either. I don't get the hatred. I really, really don't. Weren't he playing for Chelsea like 5 years? He's known the club inside out. I only remember he played for Liverpool. Brain is crazy, especially this morning. Yeah. I see. You talk about Alonso. If you're talking about Alonso never played for Chelsea. If you're still talking about, I assume you're talking about Alonso, right? Or someone else. I assume it's Alonso. If it is Alonso, he never played for Chelsea. It all makes a little more sense to me now. Waiting doesn't award anyone in the world. Not necessarily. There are some things worth waiting for. But then again, some things you've got to just go for the here and now. Something's got to be for the here and now. It's like waiting to ask a girl out. Next day, she is taken by someone else. Yeah, like I say, there are some things that you have to wait for, and they'll be worth the wait. And then there are some things that you need to go out there and get for the here and now. That's just the way that it is. It's just the way that it is sometimes. Some things are worth the wait. Some things you have to just go and grab the ball by the horns. Spurs need to lose their next 2 games while West Ham win their last, and West Ham will stay up. Am I right? Yeah. Spurs only need 1 point to confirm themselves as being safe for next season. The problem that West Ham have got is that their goal difference is shocking. Their goal difference is absolutely shocking, which is why Spurs pretty much only need a point. Because the goal difference is 14 in Spurs' favour. So unless Spurs are going to suffer some sort of 10-0 defeat on the final day of the season to Everton, and West Ham are going to win something along the lines of 4 or 5-0 against Leeds, that's not happening. That's not happening. So Spurs only need 1 point. If Spurs get that 1 point against Chelsea, the final day of the season is pretty much pointless. Barring, like I say, a major swing in goal difference. But that's very unlikely to happen. Big up Scott is in the building, who says that Slot needs a 10-year contract. Ha, absolutely hilarious. But I understand where the rival fans are coming from. And this is the worst part. Rival fans are saying this stuff. And if you ever want a clear indication of where your football club is going, then listen to rival fans. Listen to rival fans. Because if they are like Scott is here, that's a clear indication that you're making the wrong move by keeping him. Simple as that. The same way that a lot of Liverpool fans are unhappy that Xabi Alonso is going to Chelsea indicates, in my opinion, that Chelsea are making the right move to benefit Chelsea. That is where that's where you gauge where you're going as a football club, by understanding the opinions of rival fans, like Scott, like a lot of other fans. A lot of fans are wanting Slot to stay. And why wouldn't you? Liverpool are no longer a threat with him in the dugout at Anfield. We're no longer a threat. This is so reminiscent of Brendan Rodgers. It's unbelievable. This is so reminiscent of Brendan Rodgers. It really, really is. The final year under Brendan Rodgers, where everything fell apart. And like I say, the only difference between Rodgers and Slot is that Slot won the Premier League title. Rodgers didn't. But they had similar circumstances. For example, Brendan Rodgers almost won the Premier League because of Luis Suarez. Almost won the Premier League because of Luis Suarez. Slot won the Premier League mainly because of Mo Salah. They had two players who had two unbelievably exceptional individual seasons. This Liverpool team, admittedly, is more well-rounded than what that Liverpool team was over 10 years ago because, we had a better defense, we had a better goalkeeper, and midfield was strong, was a little bit more I would say flexible. I would say flexible is the right word. But there's no doubt about it. There are some glaring similarities between Brendan Rodgers and Arne Slot. Grandiosa says stop trolling in response to Scott, but like I say, I welcome that opinion. I welcome that opinion because again, I think you can gauge a lot about where your club is going by what a lot of rival fans are saying. And here's the thing: no rival fan is going, you know what? I don't think you've seen it from this angle. So therefore, we know we're making the wrong decision. I mean, we know already as Liverpool fans, but it's nice to just have that reassurance, Scott says Arsenal will get beat tonight. I hope you're right, dude, but I can't see it myself. I hope you are right, but I just can't see it, unfortunately. As I am a City supporter, I can't see how we beat Bournemouth away. We were so poor against Chelsea. Yeah, that was not a good cup final. That was certainly not a good cup final. I mean, you won in the end, so it doesn't necessarily matter. Similarly to how Liverpool beat Tottenham in the Champions League many years ago. It wasn't. That was probably one of the worst Champions League. I wouldn't say it probably was the worst, but it might have been one of the worst Champions League finals. And you kind of don't care if you're on the winning end of it. You kind of don't care if you're on the winning end of it. But Bournemouth are good. They've put together an incredible run towards the end of this season. Imagine if Bournemouth get Champions League and Areola. I would like to know what the thinking of Areola is right now. He might get Champions League football this season. He might get Champions League football next season, and he's turned around and gone, yeah, I've taken them as far as what I can go. I'm leaving. Like, did he expect to get this far? And maybe he was like, no, I'm not going to get them to the Champions League. Are you crazy? I'm not getting this club to the Champions League. Oh, we might be in the Champions League. Oh, I might have made a mistake. Like, I'd like to know. I'd like to know what his thinking is right now. I, however, think that Burnley can shock us, but what if it doesn't matter? Like I say, you let it slip when you lost to Everton. That was the game. You were one. Well, the also ironic thing is that if you go, and I know you can always do the what about this, what about that, but Tottenham, looking back, may have secured Arsenal the Premier League. Tottenham may have secured Arsenal the Premier League. In maybe staying up in the Premier League, Tottenham may have actually secured Man City, Arsenal the Premier League. Because goal difference might be a big thing. And if City are more superior on goal difference but not points, then I, for one, will personally go back to the game in which City were 2-0 up against Tottenham. And whilst there was some dodgy controversy surrounding the first Tottenham goal, in which I think it probably was a foul on Mark Gahey, Tottenham still managed to fight back to 2-2. Then they got a point. Now, if City lose this Premier League title by 2 points but have a superior goal difference, then those 2 points dropped, you could argue, came from Everton. I think it'd be more damaging if it came from Tottenham, though. Like, how funny is that? That Tottenham helped Arsenal towards becoming Premier League champions. You could also pinpoint Nottingham Forest. You could pinpoint West Ham. There are a few, but the narrative isn't as funny if you don't use Tottenham. Just saying. Do I want Arsenal to win the league? I am a United fan from Manchester and would rather City win it. That's an interesting take. There's not many United fans that want City to win the league, admittedly. I know that there are a few online that obviously do want that do want Arsenal to win the league, and it's purely based off the fact that they have a deeper hatred for Manchester City. And, you know, if City do win the league this year, let's also remember that if City do win the league this year, Pep's done another domestic treble in a year in which City have not been anywhere near the level that a certain Liverpool managed to compete with them with over the years. Like, they've not been that great, and yet they've managed to pull off a domestic treble, which I think will be incredible for City, but damaging for the rest of the Premier League. And I think it also, I know that Fergie is the GOAT. And there's no doubt in my mind about it that Sir Alex Ferguson is the greatest of all time in terms of being a manager. But I think it would strengthen Guardiola's case for why he should at least be in the conversation if he was to go on and win the Premier League with this City squad. I think it genuinely would. Because he's had to rebuild the City squad over the past couple of years to this point. Yeah, but most United fans want Arsenal to win it. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they certainly do. They have a deeper hatred. They do, bro, honestly. Go out there and have a look. There are a lot of United fans out there that would want Arsenal to. And the ones that do want City to win it are the ones that share the same common thing that I've got, which is they can't stand their fans. And I want 100% understand that. But I think for the benefit of Man United, from a legacy perspective, from their greatest of all time manager in Sir Alex Ferguson, I think you need Arsenal to win it. Because Arsenal winning a title could just be a one-off. It could just be a one-off. Whereas City winning the title, I think it probably indicates that Guardiola may have a stronger case as to rivaling Fergie. That's just my opinion. They're already saying Arteta is better than Klopp if he does the double. No. No. And this is what I'm expecting from a lot of Arsenal fans, even before winning anything, are already putting players and managers in conversations they don't deserve to be in. Like, what are we doing here? A lot of Arsenal fans compare Arteta to the likes of Ancelotti and Simeone. You know, managers that have actually won things. But they still say Arteta's better than them. Not happening. They say that Declan Rice is better than Steven Gerrard. Absolutely no way. They say that Declan Rice can get into prime Barcelona's midfield or prime Real Madrid's midfield. Absolutely no way. They said that Bukayo Saka could get into Barcelona's prime front three. Absolutely no freaking way. So these Arsenal fans are full of deluded, mad, crazy takes. Most of them, anyway. And if they are to go on and do the double, fair play. Congratulations. But I would still take Prime Klopp any day of the week. For his football, for his passion, for his energy, for the type of man that he is, the way that he carried himself. Because at the end of the day, when Man City were at their peak, at their prime, there was only one manager that was competing, and that was Jurgen Klopp. And in any other year, any other era, he would have managed to win more trophies than what he has done. Arteta takes advantage of a season in which Man City fall off completely, and they don't push the team to the brink. And they have one of the most favourable Champions League run-ins I have ever witnessed in my life. The fact that half of the draw was made up of Champions League winners, and the other half of the draw was made up of Champions League teams that have never won the Champions League, and then Barcelona. Like, come on, man, what are we doing here? Like, just put it more into context. There's no way Arteta is better than Klopp. Just simple as that. It took Klopp 3 years to take a mediocre Liverpool team. Well, not even 3 years. It took him 6 months to get them competing again. It took him a couple of months to get into a League Cup final. It took him a few months to get into a Europa League final. It took him a year to get Liverpool back into the Champions League, and then it took him 2 or 3 years to get Liverpool into a Champions League final. 4 years to go on and win a Champions League. 5 years to win the Premier League. In 7 years, having spent £1 billion, Arteta has finally reached a Champions League final. And Arteta, after 7 years, is probably finally going to win a Premier League title. Well done. 7 years and £1 billion spent. Liverpool were mediocre when Klopp walked in. The squad was terrible. The squad had to deal with the likes of Christian Benteke and Dejan Lovren. We had Simon Mignolet in goal. And I know that Arsenal's team wasn't exactly much better when Arteta took over. But we were competing a lot faster than what he was. And we had worse players. So, and we had more competition. We had stronger competition than what there is today. Dembele is injured, so Arsenal might. Dembele's not been the same, though, this season. Dembele's not been the same this season. This season, it's Kvaratskhelia and Doué this season. Dembele's not been the same. We shall see. Maybe more. Maybe more splitted then. Burnley needs an early goal today, then park the bus. If Arsenal score an early goal, it's over. Sadly, Crystal Palace, which is a strong side, especially at home, will turn their back. Yeah, I mean, turn their back to the footballing world. Yeah, Palace have already written the game off. Palace couldn't care less. Palace have got a Europa Conference League final, which I understand is much more important than a dead rubber game against Arsenal. So I completely understand why Palace wouldn't care about the game. I mean, Burnley shouldn't to an extent either. They're already down and out. So I can understand that as well. The thing is that if Burnley park the bus, I still think Arsenal have the capabilities to break that bus down, even if it is through set pieces. And you know how much Arsenal love a set piece. So the stars are going to have to align tonight. You know, there's going to have to be a ton of misfortune that goes on with Arsenal if they are to actually lose or drop points tonight. I just don't see it happening. I just really, really don't see it happening. I think Arsenal win is written all over this game. I just think it is. I just think it's written all over this game. And even if not, they'll probably still get a dodgy referee or VAR decision. Ugh, terrible. Like the team did their absolute best this season. They want to honor. They want to honor Jota. So who gets it? I'm not 100% sure what that's in reference to. Dennis Bergkamp says, the mighty Arsenal. Big up, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Lovely to have you here with us. That the manager slot selects a team and brings in tactics that doesn't fit is not the player's fault. The caliber there. The guy talks so much for someone who is failing miserably, and he just won't take accountability at all. He doesn't take accountability. He doesn't take any responsibility. The guy just goes and says, just, this isn't on me, this is the players, essentially. He doesn't take responsibility, this guy. Really, really doesn't. Or at least not enough for what an absolute train wreck this season's been. Like, the guy a few weeks ago is calling out Mo Salah again, saying standards are not just set in the gym. They're set on a football pitch. Well, if that's the case, then why are we playing like crap? Why are we playing like crap then if the standards are set on the pitch? Why are you making us play like we are just a bunch of non-footballing people that have just turned up playing like a charity game? Players that never kicked a ball, don't know each other, like a group of strangers out there. That's what you've made this team become. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible that he would say that the guy who has been setting the standard for Liverpool over the past several years, a massive, massive reason as to why you are a Premier League champion, needs to set the standard for Liverpool Football Club when he has been, and he's been that guy for many years, showing the biggest amount of consistency that I have seen from any player in the past several years, barring maybe Kevin De Bruyne in the Premier League. Are you insane? Are you genuinely insane? Do you know who you're talking to or what you are dealing with? And you know what's going to be the real big kick in the teeth as well? The real big kick in the teeth. It's going to be if this comment by Salah. If Salah's post on social media, you know, if that irritates him enough to not play him in his final game of his Liverpool career at Anfield, oh my God. The nuclear reaction, the reaction from the Liverpool crowd is going to be absolutely nuclear. Absolutely nuclear. If he doesn't play him, or if he takes him off, barring obviously injury, the reaction is going to be nuclear. I can see him doing one or two things. He's either not going to start him, or the guy will play him for about 2 minutes and then take him off. Or he'll put him on for like the final 2 minutes or something. The guy, because the guy is that egotistical, the guy is that self-centered. I can see him doing that. I can see him doing that to make an example. But if he does it, on his head be it. So he gets it meant as an excuse as performing poorly. Oh, I get it. All right, okay. No, they don't. They don't get it. They don't, it's just a shockingly bad state of affairs right now. It's shocking. It's absolutely appalling. Big up AO's in the building. Lovely to have you here, my bro. Hope you're doing well. He says, how are you? Like and subscribe. Yes, people, make sure you're liking and subscribing on the video and the channel. Really do appreciate each and every single one of you being here on this Monday morning. I'm doing good, my bro. I hope you are as well. Well, doing as good as I can, given the fact that my club is completely in the mud right now. But yeah, I hope you're doing well too. Big up, my bro. Thank you for saying and doing all of that kind of stuff. 20 losses, 20 losses, 8 draws, and no trophies. The worst season. The worst season that we have had. The worst season that we've had in God knows how long. 20 losses. Apparently, that's still not good enough to get the sack, apparently. If we were to go to our regular jobs and perform this badly as what Slot is doing, we'd have been sacked ages ago. But this guy apparently is allowed to do this. He is allowed to kamikaze this club into the ground and is apparently allowed to live to tell the tale again for next season. How do we live in a world in which Manchester United and Chelsea, in the modern day era of football, are showing more ambition and intuition than us? How? Someone tell me. Someone please tell me. Do you see a world where Salah stays if we change the manager? I think there could be a possibility. I mean, obviously, Salah likes to keep his cards close to his chest. So there might be something already in the works in terms of maybe he goes back to Italy. Maybe he goes to Spain. Maybe he goes to France. Maybe he could even go to Germany. He could go wherever. He could genuinely go wherever he wanted. Or maybe there is going to be that big mega money move to Saudi. He could go wherever he wanted. He could go to the US. he could go to the US. Maybe he goes out to the World Cup to the US, and maybe he loves it over there so much that maybe he goes, I want to link up with Messi. I want to link up with Messi into Miami. Maybe there could be a world in which that's the case. He could go wherever he wanted. But let's not pretend that a new manager may be able to convince him to stay. It would kind of go back on everything that he's done in terms of obviously the farewell video and the announcement from both club and player. But let's face it, bigger U-turns have happened over the years. Mbappe was meant to be leaving PSG a year or two before he actually did leave. You know, bigger U-turns have happened, people. But then again, I don't think his frustration is purely on the manager. I think his frustration is also on higher ups at the club. So whilst I think maybe a manager could make him stay or help him stay for footballing reasons, I think that there are bigger problems behind the scenes at Liverpool Football Club with the higher ups, with the people in power, that I think Salah has seen this year, especially, and is not liking and is wanting to get out now. And I think it's the same for Curtis Jones. I think it's the same for Andy Robertson. I think it might be the same for Alisson Becker too. That they want to leave because of that. And maybe on some cases, it's a case of first team football. Maybe more so in Curtis Jones's case, it is first team football. Andy Robertson might be a little from column A and a little from column B. But either way, you have to be as blind as Stevie Wonder to be completely tone deaf and blind to the fact that there are seemingly bigger problems at Liverpool Football Club right now that we're not completely aware of. The fact that we have dropped off so far this season, the fact that Slot hasn't been sacked, the fact that there is so much uncertainty with Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards. How long are they going to be with the club for? The multi-club ownership with FSG clearly has not materialized because they've not bought. They've not obviously bought another club. They were looking at it, but they haven't done it. And that was basically what they put the infrastructure in for, was because look at what we've done with Liverpool. We can do the same with this club. And we've got the best guy in the business that can oversee it in Michael Edwards. He's been sold a lie because they've not gone on and done it. They seemingly had all their eggs in that particular basket. So now they're like licking their wounds and feeling sorry for themselves. They forgot that this Liverpool project that they're supposed to be overseeing is currently tanking right now after spending 450 odd million in the summer. It's just a joke. It is just a joke. The football is boring and slow. Tell me about it, bro. Tell me about it. And still not sacked. Yep, we are currently on the 18th of May, 2026. The time is 20 to 10 in the morning. And the guy is still not sacked. Pathetic. Gets to me more than some of my Liverpool fans, Liverpool friends. Those Liverpool fans, I don't know whether those Liverpool fans have just become numb to the situation or not, but yeah, those Liverpool fans, yeah, that you know, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's a case of them becoming numb to the situation. I don't know. 10 slot Hag is what Scott says here. And again, there are similarities to Ten Hag. I've been saying this for the past several months as well. There does seem to be this arrogance from Dutch managers that they can come to the Premier League and play with no midfield and it be okay. Like, I saw this under Ten Hag. Ten Hag had the same problem. He decided to go with no midfield and leave the defense completely exposed. And guess what happened? He didn't win. He didn't win. He got sacked. He lost a lot of games. He dropped a lot of points. He barely won. It seems to be a Dutch thing. It has to be a Dutch thing. The arrogance, the ignorance, this weird way of playing in the Premier League. It has to be a Dutch thing, right? Ten Hag, Van Gaal. They're all similar. They're all similar. It's madness. It really is. My passion for football is unreal. I respect that, bro. I really, really respect that. I really, really respect that. Mamadash silly. I mean, I imagine a lot of rival fans are probably using that. But again, I don't understand the hatred for Mamadash. I really, really don't. I don't understand the hatred. I don't know what more the guy can do. Look, again, I'm not going to say he's been perfect. I'm not going to say that, he hasn't been at fault for a couple of goals at the very least, because maybe he could have done better with a few of them. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's been god-awful and that, he's as bad as, say, Andre Onana was at Man United. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, because that would be a blatant lie. So, again, I don't know what more the guy can do. I really, really don't. Lemens will be the best goalkeeper in the world in a few years. Maybe a bit of a stretch there, my dude. Big up Nate was in the building. Hope you're doing well, my friend. It says, how is it, Fletch? What a disaster of a season under the arrogant manager. For me, just been evident the standards dropped. Slot hasn't shown us a glimpse. He could turn it around. Players fed up. Well, this is why it ties into the title of the video, bro. I hope you're doing well, by the way, and thank you for joining us, obviously. And I hope your Monday is going pretty well. But it ties in with the title of the video. Like, I think he's lost the dressing room, and I don't think, and I've been thinking this way, obviously, for a long time. But the game against Villa, the players showed no fight, no passion. Champions League football could be all secured. You could go into the final game of the season as it should have been intended. A game in which there's no pressure, there is nothing to fight for, and you're going into it with the best intentions of giving Mohamed Salah and Andy Robertson the most perfect send-off into the sunset that you can imagine. Instead, it's been a season which has been tragic. It's been a season in which it's been a disaster, as you mentioned. There's no trophies to fight for. There is nothing on the line other than potentially Champions League or Europa League football, which obviously, if it's the latter, then that's going to be so painful again next year. But the standards have certainly dropped. We didn't get rid of this manager when we had the perfect opportunities to throughout the course of the season. We decided to stick with him. And we have just left this season to hang out and dry. You're 100% correct, dude. Like, I can't pick fault in what you've said. It's been the same rinse and repeat story, game in, game out, since the beginning of the season. Opposition teams drew up a blueprint on how to beat Liverpool right from the off, right from the first whistle, and they've just passed it between opposition to opposition teams on how to beat us. And we have done absolutely nothing to tear up that blueprint or to make teams change their approach. Opposition teams play the same way. They play the same way. They play through us, and we've done nothing. And it doesn't matter what personnel that we put out there. It doesn't matter what rotation we do. It doesn't matter what formation he tries. The style, the substance is just not there from Arne Slot. And that falls on some of the players as well. Do not get me wrong. Some of these players are not beyond criticism. We have criticized the vast majority of these players throughout the course of the campaign. But at the end of the day, I refuse to believe that it is all down to the players. I refuse to believe that these players are just simply bad players that have developed bad habits and being bad overnight from last season, where whether they were playing for Liverpool or not, they were absolutely unbelievable. And a lot of teams would have given their left arm just to sign the players like Alexander Isak, like Florian Wirtz. Even in some cases, the likes of the best left back in the Premier League last season in Milos Kerkez, or even one of the most exciting prospects at right wing back in Jeremy Frimpong. Whoever it was that we signed last season, a lot of clubs would have been interested, and yet we're the ones who got them, and yet Arne Slot has got no idea what to do with them. And he has shown no signs of improvement. We have shown no signs of good consistency or even an attempt to get better. Our way of playing is to hope the opposition gift us a goal by a horrendous error. Failing that, we may get a goal from a set piece, or we may give the ball to a 17-year-old kid and go and do a moment of madness and magic. And he may do it, but he's a 17-year-old kid. Why are we putting everything that we have on our attacking prowess on the shoulders of him? And the only reason, by the way, let's not forget this as well, people. The only reason why Nkamoa is playing as many minutes as what he is doing this season right now is because Isak can't stay fit. Ekitike is injured. Salah's been injured for the past several weeks. That's the only reason why he's been allowed to play these past several games. It's not out of a tactical decision that Slot's put him in there. Slot has put him in there because he's got no other choice. Well, actually, he does. But in his mind, he doesn't have a choice because he has to play Gakpo. He has to play Cody Gakpo because, God forbid, Gakpo would sit on the bench. So in his mind, he has no choice. It's so bad. It's so bad. But yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Camden, appreciate the comment, bro, but I will not be reading that out aloud, of course, because I actually read ahead on those things. But appreciate you stopping by anyway. Indeed, Mamardashvili has been good. Defense, however, has been poor. Again, I don't understand why a lot of Liverpool fans are suddenly turning on Mamardashvili. It just seems so strange to me. You know what, as well? I'll say this. I don't even think it's been the defense this year. Yeah, I know, again, they're not beyond blame. They're not beyond criticism. Van Dijk in individual moments has been shocking. Konate has been shocking. Kerkez has been left found suspect at times. And whoever we've had at right back has been cursed. But we've had no protection from the midfield whatsoever. Like, don't get me wrong, the defense has been poor. But I think the worst part of our squad and our setup this season has been the midfield. Gravenberch has been abysmal. McAllister has been poor. Szoboszlai's been doing the job of about 3 different players at every single game. I'm surprised that guy hasn't ran himself into the ground yet. It's been shocking. Look at Friday. Look at Friday, for example, right? Why is our DM in Ryan Gravenberch, who is clearly the superior defensive-minded midfielder out of the 3, why is he our most advanced midfielder? Why? Make that make sense. Why is McAllister our most deepest midfielder? Which, again, doesn't make sense because defensively, we all know he's a little suspect when it comes to, tackling and winning the ball back and stuff. As a deep-lying playmaker, it could work, but he needs a warrior alongside him. It boggles the mind. It absolutely boggles the mind that this guy basically sees these players and goes, right, I know he is better in this role, but I'm going to put him in a completely different role. Our best performances this season have come when everybody has been performing well. Everybody has been in a comfortable position, a comfortable role. Look at the Real Madrid game as a prime example. That Real Madrid game, everybody was on song because everybody was in a position they knew and trusted. It was fine. That game was fine. And then he decides, nope, can't have that. Can't have everybody being comfortable. I need to go weird with it. I need to play Gravenberch as our most advanced midfielder. I need to play Wirtz off the left wing for no reason. I need to play Gakpo up top. Like, make it make sense, please. I am mixing him with another Alonso. Yes, you're thinking of Marcos Alonso, aren't you? Yes. I didn't even remember. I didn't even remember until you just said it. Yeah, I didn't even think. The squad of players are still good enough to at least challenge for the title. It's clear it slots out of his depth. Klopp proved that he could improve players. Big up Nate is in the building. Love to have you here. You're 100% right because Klopp was amazing at bigging players up and helping them to enhance their performances to levels I don't even think they could actually realize and recognize. You think about when we brought kids through the club, even the Carabao Cup final a few years ago. We finished the season we finished that game with kids, and they played out of their skin to make sure we won that trophy. Klopp was an amazing man motivator. He was incredible at motivating players. He was incredible at making players believe in him, believe in his system. Even when things weren't going great, the guy still had players believing in him, and they would still run through brick walls for him. He was still phenomenal at all of that stuff. And that's what made him great. Now, you look at Arne Slot. Does that guy fill you with confidence? Does that guy make you feel like you are loved and you are a part of the team? Does that guy make you feel like you want to run through brick walls for him? I get cold vibes. I get extremely cold, chilling vibes that he's not as passionate. He's not as energetic. He's more standoffish and he's more, I can't bother with this. Klopp was involved, which is why the training videos you see, he's involved. He's having a laugh with the players. It's a proper feel-good atmosphere. Even when things were going wrong, even in seasons where, we finished third after a horrible, horrible year, or we finished 5th in the Europa League, there was still elements of that team that was stating like, look, we really trust in this guy. We really love this guy. We just can't do it to the level that we did last season or the season before. We just can't do it. Our legs have gone. We need to be resurrected in the midfield. We need to be resurrected in defense, whatever the case may be. Like, Slot does not fill me with that same confidence or that same ability as what Slot does. And it makes me appreciate and love Jurgen Klopp even more. What say we pull a domestic double? I take it. But damn, dude, Arsenal have not even been really great this season and wins it. Yeah. Again, you're spot on. I say that about City, about them not being at their best and could still win a treble, like you say. But Arsenal, like I say, and that's a frustrating thing from a Liverpool fan as well. If Arne Slot had actually pulled his finger out this season, we might have actually won the Premier League this year again. We might have actually done something that I've not seen in my lifetime as a Liverpool fan. We might have actually retained a Premier League title. We might have actually gone on and won a Champions League title, because everything at the beginning of the season was set up to compete for those things. And yet, this bold-headed Dutch fraud decided, no, that's no fun. Where's the fun if we just win it every year? I'm going to go rogue and go weird with it. Oh, here he is. Here's Niche Fan. My guy. How you doing, bro? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well after that incredibly fortunate victory against Nottingham Forest yesterday. Clear handball, by the way. The man with the best hair on YouTube. Your glory days are over. Gonna die. Gone like a fart in the wild. Liverpool is finished. Big up, bro. Glad you finally made an appearance. You only seem to when Man United win, by the way. So, yeah, but glad you're here. Glad you're okay, my friend. Glad you're okay. Always good to talk to you. Pep is definitely in the question, but like you said, Sir Alex Ferguson is the GOAT. Yeah, just the way it is. I don't think anybody's going to build a legacy like what he managed to do and do the things that he managed to do with that United team over a long period of time. I just don't think that's going to be achieved. I want City to win it. We all know they cheat, so it's not winning anyway. Well, we'll obviously cross that bridge when we come to it with the 115, if we ever cross that bridge, that is. That's interesting. Another United fan that wants City to win it. We shall see. We shall see. Pep staying, can't see him leaving. Well, there's been a lot of talk that he will be leaving in the summer. Someone from The Athletic yesterday kind of mentioned that it does seem like he will be leaving this summer rather than next summer. I don't know, I think it might depend on whether he wins the Premier League or not. If Arsenal managed to bottle it from this position, that would be hilarious in of itself, and we obviously need a conversation about Arteta. But I think if City were to genuinely go on and win the league from here, which is unlikely given obviously the fact that it's in Arsenal's hands, I think he leaves, because what better way to leave than by winning a domestic treble? You win a domestic treble, you set the team up perfectly for the next manager to come in. Enzo Maresca comes in because that's seemingly where City are heading next. They're heading with Maresca. Yeah, I think it'd be a perfect way to bow out. You've rebuilt the team. You've set it up perfectly for the next manager. You've done wonders. You've done absolute wonders. But we'll see. Big old Alf is in the building. Lovely to have you here, my bro. Guys, if you haven't already, go and check out Alf's channel. He's doing some absolutely amazing stuff over there, doing some watch-alongs, some great live shows as well with some top guests. So please do go and check out Alf's channel. There's something for everyone. Even if you're not a City fan and you want to maybe broaden your footballing horizons a little bit, there is probably something for everybody over there. So go and show my guy Alf some love and some support. Club Brugge beat Union Saint-Gilloise 5-0 in a title-deciding game. Bruges was subbing on academy players after 60 minutes. Wow. Club Brugge take enormous pride in their academy. They've always got some good youngsters over there, some promising ones at least. But yeah, that's damn. They won it in style. They won that competition in style. Kyle Walker could do the funniest thing today. Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine? It's 0-0, 90th minute, and Kyle Walker has his Vincent Kompany moment. Vincent Kompany against Leeds moment. What a moment that would be. I still worry, though. I still worry about Bournemouth for your lot on Tuesday. I still worry for your lot against Bournemouth, which is why I don't necessarily think tonight's result matters. I mean, obviously, if Arsenal were to lose, you're going to get the Arsenal fans that are going to be in meltdown, which is going to be hilarious. But I've just got a weird feeling that even if Arsenal were to drop points tonight, and it would be typical of what this Premier League season has been so far. But even if Arsenal were to lose tonight, I've just got a feeling like your team won't be able to capitalise on Tuesday. I think if you were against any other club other than Bournemouth, I think you'd be fine. I think you'd be, with the possible exception of Man United. I just think any other club, you'd be fine. I've just got a weird feeling about Bournemouth. I really, really do. We're getting Enrique in 2 years and a Qatari buyout, 3 billion new Trafford, debt wiped, and 800 million in new signings. 2 years, lad. Just have to put up with Carrick until the deal's done. That's fantastic. Congratulations. I didn't even know that could happen in Football Manager. But fair play to you, dude. Fair play to you. Didn't know that could happen in Football Manager. Or is it EA Sports? Is it the FIFA version of events? I don't know, man. I don't know. But it could be a dream. It's one of those three things. It's a dream, Football Manager, or EA Sports career mode. I don't know. But either way, that is perfect. Well done. Good for you. PSG is spanking them in the Champions League final. I hope so, my dude. I hope so. Anything to... I mean, it won't necessarily be a humbling if they win the Premier League. If they lose both, though, oh my days, the meltdown will be generational. If they lost both, if they lost the Premier League from this position, it will be big anyway. But if they lost the Premier League and didn't go on to beat PSG, oh my God, there is not going to be enough popcorn in the world to sit there throughout an entire summer, World Cup going off in the background, but watching Arsenal content. That is going to be mint. And you know, if they do lose both from here, no Arsenal fan should have, if they actually have the guts to show their face on camera or on any form of social media, then fair play for you having the stones to do that. But if they lose it from here, a lot of Arsenal fans are going to have to go into hiding. They're going to have to go into hiding. Oh my God. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Big ol' Gerson is in the building. Lovely to have you here, my bro. Hope you're doing well on this Monday morning. Says Arsenal fans are counting their chickens before they've hatched. Burnley can even derail their title hopes because this is the Premier League. Everything is possible in this league. Absolutely, it is. Bear with me just 1 second, people. Bear with. There we are. I'm back. But yes, I mean, look, you can never take anything for granted, and we've seen Arsenal fans take games before for granted, and they've ultimately came back to bite them hard. So again, if there's any Arsenal fan out there that's thinking that the league is definitely won, you may not know your club that well, because, like I say, that's happened before. I remember last season. When Liverpool were leading the race in the title race. There were a lot of Arsenal fans that were drawing up these Excel spreadsheets of here's Liverpool's next 10 games and here's Arsenal's next 10 games. And every game for Arsenal, barring maybe one, was like win, 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 draw, win, 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 or whatever. And every game for Liverpool was like, oh yeah, well, you'll beat like Ipswich, but then you'll lose to Brentford, you'll draw to Bournemouth, you'll draw to Brighton, you'll beat Everton, but you'll lose to this team. And they took it for granted. And if there's, like I say, if there's any Arsenal fan tonight that's going into it thinking that Burnley have no chance, I hope it comes back to bite you hard. I really, really do. But for me, from the outside looking in, look, if I had to make a prediction, of course I'm going to go with the favourite. Of course I'm going to think Arsenal are going to win. But I have hope. I have hope that Burnley can pull off an upset. Not only that, but it will make the final game of the season a lot more interesting. Because if Burnley can get a draw, and City win, it's going to make it a lot more interesting on the final day of the season. And here's why. Because I think Villa are probably going to win the Europa League on Wednesday and then be absolutely hammered. They're going to be hungover for their game against City on the final day of the season. Crystal Palace, at the same time, have got a Europa Conference League game coming up. So they couldn't care less about the final day of the season. So therefore, if you're going into the final day of the season with both teams level on points, I want to see who is going to absolutely smash it out in terms of goal difference. I want to see who is going to outscore the other, because that will make it interesting, because both teams are going to win the final game of the season. I'm already predicting that. Both teams are going to win the final game of the season. But if Burnley can get a draw tonight and City can win tomorrow night against Bournemouth, that sets it up for the goal difference season. And that will at least make it a bit more interesting than what this season's been so far. So I'm hoping that that's going to be the scenario that plays out to an extent. As long as City go on and win it, I couldn't care less. And I don't necessarily care that City win it either, to be perfectly honest with you. But anything to stop those annoying Arsenal fans from celebrating too much. Chelsea and Man United used to be I can't even say that word. The serious clubs. What? I don't know. I don't even know what I'm thinking there. The serious clubs. Man United only pick up points when they play one game a week. And that's going to be the big telling thing. When they go to 2 games next season. They don't have the squad for it right now, but a big summer, could obviously change things. But that's going to be the big thing. And that's why I wonder whether or not appointing Carrick as the full-time head coach was the right move or not. Because it's all right doing things when you're only playing one game a week. It's okay doing things when you are playing the basics of football. can be a little bit complicated when you're having to rotate, when you're having to go game to game to game to game rather than game, rest, game, rest. It's going to be an interesting season next season for Man United. Damn right it is. After Qatar buys in 2 years, we're targeting all of the best players. Right. Okay. Good for you, dude. Good for you. Just humor him a sec here, guys. Just humor him a sec. Yeah, but what can we expect from Crystal Palace then? Absolutely nothing. Crystal Palace. I wouldn't be surprised if Palace throw out their under-18s on Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised if Palace just go, here's a group of under-18 kids that we have never, ever seen before and you most likely may never see again. Good luck. Good luck. Big up Brawl Lover is in the building. Lovely to have you here, my bro. Hope you're doing well on this Monday morning. Lovely to have you here with us. It says, what's FSG thinking? I don't think they are thinking, to be honest with you, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think they are thinking. I think it is just a case of let's stick it out and hope for the best. Let's weather the storm and hope for the best. Xabi Alonso wasn't going to be the right choice anyways. He doesn't fit into the style of Liverpool's attacking football. Big up, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right, but Checks. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. I apologize. I am not good with names. I am sorry if I've just butchered that name, bro. But thank you for being here. Really do appreciate you being here. Look, I think Alonso does something that I think modern football needs, and that is being versatile and fluid. I think he can go from playing a back three to a back four. We saw it at Leverkusen that maybe his games weren't exactly the most entertaining in terms of football, but there were a lot of goals, to be fair. He was always involved seemingly in a lot of games that provided a lot of goals, and especially a lot of late drama as well. So I respect Alonso so much in terms of I really did want him at our club. He may not have played the heavy metal football that Mohamed Salah's crying out for, or a lot of Liverpool fans are crying out for the days of Jurgen Klopp. But I think he could adapt a little bit. And I think we could adapt as well a little bit. I think there is a bit of compromise on both ends, that we could adapt a little bit more to a bit more flexibility, a bit more adaptability, and maybe he could adapt more to being a bit more attacking minded. And I think that could certainly have been the case if he had been the next Liverpool manager. As it happens, he's going to your lot now. I assume you're a Chelsea fan, by the way. I'm just making that assumption. I apologize if not. I don't know, just seemingly. But he's going to Chelsea now. And again, I think it's a perfect move for Chelsea. I think it is the big step in the right direction for the Blues. And I think his style of play is going to be suited because he's not... Everyone thinks, oh, he's going to be defensive-minded. Oh, he's going to play a back three. Back three doesn't work in the Premier League. Well, he can play a back three, but the way that his system is, it's so fluid that it could morph into a back four, a back five, whatever the case may be. I think whatever he feels like is needed, I think he can adapt and he can modify his squad accordingly. So I think it's a very, very good move for Chelsea. I feel like it would have been a good move for Liverpool as well, but it just wasn't to be because our owners are stupid. Very, very, very stupid. Honestly, concerning owners aren't moving like Liverpool are a big club. Preaching to the choir, dude. You're 100% correct. It's I don't know, man. I'm sick of this manager. I'm sick of this season, and I'm sick of these owners for letting it drag on as much as what we have done. There is no need to let it drag on as much as this, as much as they have done, and yet And yet here we are. And yet here we are. You're 100% correct. I completely agree with you. References to the excuses on Jota. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd say though I can't believe that we're still using those excuses. It's absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. As the team surely want to honor him by playing their best. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine how emotional it would be if we actually did win a major honor, and we're having the team photo at the end with the trophy and everything, and we just throw a Diogo Jota shirt over the trophy or something, or we hold it next to the trophy or something along those lines. Like, how incredible a gesture and emotion, a moment and an emotional moment at that would have been. Instead, we are using his tragic passing as an excuse for why we're not playing well. It's an absolute joke, and I hate it. I absolutely hate and despise what we've become by doing that. Big up. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, and I genuinely do apologize if not. But Biku, if you have names that I'm not using, guys, make sure to tell me in the chat. I do genuinely apologize if I'm pronouncing your name completely wrong. But Biku, I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. I do genuinely apologize if not. I hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you here on this Monday morning. If we don't sack him, we are going back to 2014-15 era. I think we're already there. The final season of Brendan Rodgers, as I mentioned earlier, my dude, there are so many similarities between what we are going through right now and what we were back then before Klopp took over. It's unbelievable. And you remember as well, the Brendan Rodgers season where his final full season, we finished, what was it? Fifth or sixth? We finished fifth or sixth. It was Gerrard's last season. We had just got absolutely slapped by Stoke on the final day of the season. Ironically, another team that plays in red and white. So imagine what the Brentford game is going to be this weekend, right? We just got absolutely slapped up by Stoke. We lost 6-1. And we still went into next season with the guy. We still went into next season with Brendan Rodgers. And then we got to September. We sacked him. And by the middle of October, Jurgen Klopp had arrived. So, again, maybe our salvation, maybe our savior is going to once again come in the middle of October. But I, for one, don't want to have to wait until the middle of October to learn that next season is a complete write-off. I want to actually compete next season for something and have a fun season in which I actually enjoy watching Liverpool games again, in which I can't wait to watch Liverpool games again, in which I like the football that we are playing again. But it doesn't seem like we're going to be getting that. Struggling every time, 100% correct. Luis Enrique wants to manage in England. Seems like Liverpool will be the right club for him. That would be the most perfect and dream scenario. The only problem is that I don't think we're going to get him. I don't think we're going to get him. As much as I want him, as much as I think he'd be perfect, I don't think we're going to get him. Unfortunate as it is. We'll go through these comments and then we're going to have to wrap up. Fletch, how are Burnley when it comes to players available for the Arsenal game and injuries? I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure when it comes to Burnley, to be perfectly honest. All I know is that they've got their interim manager. It's not Scott Parker anymore. It's their interim manager, Michael Jackson. So I guess we are in for a thriller tonight. If Arsenal do go on and lose, it's bad. If Arsenal and Arteta do go on to lose, then Arteta needs to look at the man in the mirror. Are any of these Michael Jackson puns doing anything for people? Let me know. Let me know. I'm sure those jokes have been overused since that news broke, but yeah, I've got no idea. Eric 10 slot bag. Fair enough from Niche Fan. I think someone already made that joke earlier in the show. What's up, Abdul? Sorry, between you two. Big up, Lee's in the building. Lovely to have you here, my bro. Hope you're doing well. Ultron, big up to you. Hope you're doing well. I read we don't want Barcola anymore. I'm disappointed because I like him. Is it a case of we don't want Barcola, or is it a case of Barcola doesn't want us? And to be honest, I can't blame him. Could you imagine we bring Barcola in and he's forced to sit on the bench for Gakpo? Embarrassing. But to be honest, I don't care about new players because Slot's not leaving. Exactly. We could go out and have the most perfect transfer window. We could go and get Adam Wharton. We could go and get Bruno Guimaraes. We can go and get whoever you want on that list. If money was not an object, we could go and get whoever and whatever you wanted. And guess what? We'd have the brains behind the operation that would not be able to put the entire operation together. Because last season I thought was pretty much perfect in terms of the transfer window. And look how that's turned out. Big up, bro. How you doing? Well, lovely to have you here. Says, so with Xabi going to Chelsea, who would you prefer if Slot goes? Me, Areola is Prem proven. I like Areola. I'm not. There's something about him I'm not completely convinced by. And the same goes with Oliver Glasner as well. I'm not completely convinced by Glasner. So, Luis Enrique would be my dream choice. But there's a reason I say dream, because that would probably only happen in my dreams or maybe in a game of Football Manager. Xabi Alonso, like you say, is off the table. Nagelsmann, I could see Nagelsmann, but if he stays with Germany, then obviously probably not. Beyond that, I'm struggling for ideas. Beyond that. Those are the three. And I watch all Liverpool matches, so I have seen Mamardashvili. Whole team haven't performed, you mean? Yeah. The whole team's not performed. Like, I don't get why a lot of online Liverpool fans are digging out Mamardashvili. I just don't get it. Like, don't get me wrong, deserves a fair share of the blame. But people are like going like, he should be stopping everything that's thrown at him. I don't think he's been that bad. I really, really don't. I don't know what more the guy can do. Mamardashvili bad because the defense shit, but the defense shit because the midfield. The biggest problem is the midfield. They are they are weak. They are soft. A joke. Horrible midfielders. I said the same thing earlier, bro. We're on the same wavelength. I said the same thing. The midfield offers no protection. Why? Because Slot doesn't play with a midfield. It must be a Dutch thing. Because as I said earlier, Ten Hag did the same thing with United. Van Gaal did the same thing with United. And that guy who managed, was it De Boer at Crystal Palace, did the exact same thing with Crystal Palace. There is no midfield. It must be a Dutch thing. To play with no midfielders whatsoever. It must be. Slot lost the dressing room last season. It's taken you this long to realise that. I mean, not necessarily, because last season they still managed to pull it together to win the Premier League. It was at the, I'd say it was at the beginning of this season that it all fell apart. He just tried to do something completely stupid, which was change the entire philosophy of what Jurgen Klopp had built. Rather than do what he did at the beginning of last season, which was use the Klopp DNA, but just tweak a few things here and there, He decided to get rid of it completely and then go, here's my way of doing it. Well, why'd you buy all these players then? Because they don't fit what you're trying to do. Like, you've bought a dangerous counter-attacking team with pace, with power, to use to try and do a possession-based setup. It doesn't work. Pep to Liverpool, could that happen? Surely not. Again, only in our dreams, bro. Only in our dreams. If Arsenal drop points, Man City players are going to be fired up. We are at our best when we're fired up. You're at your best this season when the pressure's off you. When the pressure's off you, you're at your best. For example, when you beat Arsenal a few weeks ago, the pressure was more on Arsenal to get the job done than it was your lot to win, in my opinion. And again, you could argue that in order for you to keep the Premier League title race going, the pressure was on you. But you've already won the Premier League a dozen times. Half a dozen times. You didn't need to do that. When the pressure's been off you, when you've been chasing, the pressure has been all right. When you actually had the opportunity to lead Arsenal, that's when you fell off. That's just my opinion anyway. But you are right. When you have got an incentive to bite down on, you are normally relentless. And as a Liverpool fan, that's had the displeasure of getting 92, 96, 97 points in a season and still finishing second. Yes, that is frustrating. That is so incredibly frustrating. Bournemouth, really good. They deserve top 5, not us. Yeah, Iriola's done incredible. Iriola has done incredible. Like, if Arsenal win the league, the manager of the season award probably goes to Arteta 100%, and I can understand and agree with that. But Iriola's got to be within a shout. The guy lost 4 of his 5 defenders and goalkeeper in the beginning of last season, and lost his talisman in Semenyo in the January window, and has still managed to get top 5. So what the hell is Arne Slot's excuse? That guy lost 5 big players. He lost his goalkeeper. He lost 3 of his normal 4 defenders, and he lost Semenyo. The guy has still managed to get them to a top 6 finish. Big old True Gunner, big old Josh who's in the building. Lovely to have you here. Guys, go and check out True Gunner's channel. He's an Arsenal fan, but he's actually one of the better ones. He's one of the better Arsenal fans. He's an absolute legend, doing some incredible stuff over on his channel, whether it be about the Arsenal men's team or the Arsenal women's team. He does a bit of rival chat in there as well, so there definitely is something for everybody. So do go and check out True Gunner's YouTube channel, doing some absolutely wonderful stuff over there. Go and show him some love and some support. It definitely isn't done yet. We can't come into tonight's game being complacent. You're 100% correct. The moment you do is the moment you give up. In 2022, we drew 3-3 to bottom of the table, Southampton at home, and they were relegated. So you can never say never. I remember that. That was the run of 3 results that cost you. Didn't you draw? You drew to us, if I remember correctly. You were 2-0 up in that game, and you drew to us. You drew to Southampton. And I want to say it was West Ham, but I could be wrong on that one. It was may have actually been Man City now I've said it, but I want to say it's West Ham for some reason. I don't know why. But you drew another game, or you dropped points in another game. I don't remember. Memory is not working right now. But yeah, 100% correct on that. Like, never take anything for granted, especially not in this league. I think we win and City beat Bournemouth, so it will go down to the final day of the season. City have been in position many times before 2012 moments, 2021. I think it was they beat Villa on the last day to win it. It was 2022. It was a 2022 season because it was Liverpool's quad chasing year. And Gerrard and Villa raced away into a 2-goal lead. And then lost 3-2, which just did not need to happen, bruv. Did not need to happen. That could have been a phenomenal season for us. If it wasn't for Gerrard and Villa messing up, and if it wasn't for Courtois having the performance of a lifetime in the Champions League final, we could have won the quad that year. We could have won the quad. I disagree. Alonso can adapt. Yeah, I agree. Alonso can adapt. I think Alonso is someone who's flexible, adaptable, and can change. So I agree with that statement completely. Exactly the way that he translated I can't even speak. His formations was mental. Proper tactician, would have done well with your lot. Yeah, this is why I wanted him. I wanted him because I feel like there are a lot of different styles he can play. There are a lot of different formations he can play. I just feel like he would have been the perfect choice. But instead, we're stuck with Arne Slot going forward. And I may need to put my head in the oven. Because anything is better than anything is going to be better than watching this absolute dribble for another season. I seriously, I can't put up with this for another season. It's just atrocious. But again, it's why I am hoping and praying that we've put all this out there, that Slot will be staying. Slot is the guy we're going with going forward, just to see if we can get the fans all on side to unite for one last hurrah, get Champions League football, send Mo Salah into the sunset with Andy Robertson and whoever else. And then in the summer, we go, look, we may have lied to you a little bit, but obviously we've got to think about what's best for Liverpool Football Club and not what's best for Arne Slot. Because at the end of the day, it's Liverpool Football Club, not Arne Slot FC. So we'll get everybody on side. We'll say that we're sticking with you. But you're gone. You are gone in the summer. I'm clinging on to that little tiny hope, that little spark of hope in my mind that says that Liverpool will do a U-turn and will get rid of him. But that hope is slowly dying. Slowly but surely it's dying. I hope that what's happened these past few weeks has changed FSG's mind, because it's not just the online fans that are upset, it's the match-going fans. The home fans are clearly upset, but the die-hard ones, the ones that go away, they are upset. They're the ones that are chanting for Xabi Alonso's name. They're the ones that are chanting Gerrard's name. They're not chanting Arne Slot no more. They're not chanting him. They're chanting for anybody but him. So I'm hoping FSG are taking note. I'm hoping that they are fully aware of what the overall consensus is within the Liverpool fan base right now. Because if they're not, oh dear, it's going to be a long old summer. It's going to be a long, long old summer. And it doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter who we bring in. The mood is going to be completely deflated. I just read Liverpool want the Dumfries guy again. He's 30 and injury prone. Funny because they said Robbo and Salah too old. This club is a joke. Not only that as well, the guy is good going forward, but the guy is poor defensively. You know who supposedly is the exact same profile as that? Jeremy friggin' Frimpong. Why would we get another Dutch right wing back who's good going forward, but supposedly poor defensively? Make it make sense. This guy, there's no way. Plus, are you seriously telling me that although right back is a bit of an awkward area where, you know, Bradley's injury prone, Frimpong's injury prone, are you seriously telling me that we're looking at our centre-back options, we're looking at our defensive midfield options, we're looking at our even left-back options going into next season, or our winger options and going, you know what, we need another right-back. We need another right-back. Unless, and hear me out because this has got weight behind it, because it's the kind of bonkers and stupid thing he'd do. Unless he's thinking about moving Frimpong to be a permanent right winger or bringing Dumfries in as a permanent right winger, I don't understand it. And it would make sense because he's played Frimpong at right wing this season and it doesn't work. Imagine buying a right wing back and not playing him at right back. Imagine. I'm done with this guy, man. I'm so done with this guy. I'm starting to think Johnny Heitinger was the brains behind the operation all along. I'm starting to think that these mad ideas were being had by Slot last season, and Heitinger was there going, are you okay? Do you need your medication? You want to play Salah at right back? Are you insane? And he was going, oh, you're right. And then this year, Heitinger left, and Slot's not been taking his medication, which is why he's been going out there and making these stupid, brain-dead decisions, saying the most stupidest things in interviews and press conferences, and has absolutely lost the plot. He's absolutely lost the plot. Anyway, that wraps it up. What a show. What an incredible rant of just under 2.5 hours. I really do appreciate each and every single one of you for being here. You guys are absolutely awesome. True legends. Like I say, go and check out the channels that have been in the chat today. True Guna and Alpha especially. Absolutely wonderful. If anybody else has got channels that they want to plug as well, feel free to do so. But yes, thank you all so much, one and all, for being here. Really do appreciate you all. Make sure you're hitting that like button and subscribing on the way out. Really do appreciate it from each and every single one of you. You guys have been absolutely awesome. I really enjoy these more therapeutic chats this season, just to get it all out there and off my chest. But it's really been good. I really enjoyed today's show. No, thank you, Dean. Thank you, Dean. I absolutely appreciate it from you as always. You guys, like I said, been absolutely awesome. As I hit the like button out, subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and forever greatly appreciated. We've got some end of season content coming up. Of course, we're going to be looking ahead to the finals of the Europa League, Europa Conference League for Palace, Champions League, obviously next week for Arsenal, PSG. Obviously the final day of the season coming up this weekend, so we'll have Premier League predictions for that as well. We'll obviously have season reviews next week as well, so there's a lot coming up on the channel as we gear up to the final stages of this season. And then of course the World Cup stuff begins, so we'll be looking ahead to the World Cup and obviously doing some transfer window business as well as we head into the summer. So that's going to be massive as well. So yes, once again, really do appreciate each and every single one of you for being here. Hope you have a good rest of your day. And I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.